Yeah, thanks, Trouble, and congrats, by the way, on navigating whatever this was. Great interview, amazing hearing from these two. And Vetheo, thank you so much for joining us in this PGL with me and Yamato. Anything to say about your teammates? Do you have? I'm sorry that you have to go through this every day. Is it as bad as it looks being with these two?
I think, to be honest, right now they are pretty nice.
Okay.
Compared to how they really are. And I could say a lot of things about my jungle AD, but I think if nobody says anything, it's probably better.
Yeah, if you speak, you're in trouble, I guess, is what it is. Congrats, honestly, on winning 2-0 against Koi today. That was great games that we saw from you guys. Can you tell me a bit about the prep coming into today and also bouncing back after this disappointment that was last week for you guys?
Yeah, I think the prep was pretty easy. I think we just shift a bit about like what we wanted to play. Like players making more, they really play what they want during the week and to just put it in the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like a bit hard because like we had really big hopes. And I think like first game, like to be honest, like after first game for last week for me it was so free. And then like we had two really disappointing games just by everyone performance and like as a team I think we played so poorly. So it just make like everyone like realize, and I think Jankos like said it good that we just were thinking that we're way better than we played.
Mm-hmm.
And this week was just like trying to fix stuff about draft, what we really want to play, and just try to play as good as we can on the weekend and show that we can be good.
Yamato, is there any noticeable improvements that you see on the side of Heretics last week compared to this one in the playstyle, the way they approach drafts maybe?
I feel like in this one, I think in terms of draft, I felt like you guys were a lot more comfortable. I saw the change up, especially on your end. I think when you played the Ari, I think a lot of mid laners in Europe don't play Ari because they don't understand how they need to make use of space around objectives. And I think that both you and Evie, especially in the first game, you guys found the right catches. Your Everfrost were really, really clean. You were willing to actually trade your HP to create the space, to create the fights. And I think, in general, my overall sentiment in regards to how I view you as a player, I feel like both on 13-13 and 13-11, you seem to understand very, very fast what you need to be playing in mid. And I'm kind of curious, I want to shape this into a question. Are there any places that you take inspiration from? Because I know in the past it was always Vetheo and you looked up to Chovy. Are there places you take inspiration from? Because it seems like you're very, very on top of knowing what should be played next.
I think what's pretty easy with like mid lane meta is that it didn't change a lot till like maybe 1 year. I would say like Ari probably didn't change. The only like changes that there were like was static, but like with two champs that I used to play before static, so I'm really confident on them. And then like there was like Nico, but that got nerfed. So I think the other champs are just like meta for so long, then like it will come up at one point. And obviously I watch all LCK games. I watch most of LPL games, and then I just like watch what they play, or mid laners draft, or they try to think, and I think the meta is really good for me, and it's just champs. Like just the champs are just good for a really long time, so it's pretty easy to see what's good.
I'm curious, as an additional follow-up, I think a main point of criticism towards a lot of mid laners, especially when the Tristana is played and also the Statishiv LeBlanc, in terms of how mid laners are managing the side waves and how they maintain, let's say, an 11, 12 CS per minute. Are these conversations that you've brought up when you've studied the LCK and LPL VODs? I remember your LeBlanc game specifically today. I was surprised that you guys banned it, but I don't want you to go into that too much. In terms of how champions are being played out, I think in terms of that conversation, are you also making sure that your teammates are aligned to make sure that you're set up for success?
Yeah, I think side lane was one of our main focus this week. I think I took way more responsibility about like calling side lanes about after 15 minutes, because I think I understand pretty well when to side and like lane assignment in a way. And I took way more responsibility on like calling it, and I think that's what I'm really proud of today. I think I did a really good job at like after 20 minutes going to side and making. I think what makes it easy too is my team like really like we said, I will call it, we will listen, and then everyone did, and I think it's just really easy when my teammates trust me on doing that. And yeah, I think like obviously I farm a lot since I look
It's
up to
good.
Chovy, and then like I just think like farm is the only thing you can kind of relate every single game, and it makes like if you can farm and try to have good silent, then at least you have this every game.
For sure. No, I feel like that what you just said hammered home. I feel like the big difference with Team
Yeah.
Heretics, just the fact that every time there were 5 players on mid, it was for a reason. People weren't grouping for no reason. Side waves were managed, and when they were grouping mid, they recognized the information on side. The Nar was trying to split push with Hullbreaker,
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
they slammed their buttons onto the enemy, and it was with conviction. I really like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about Heretics is that if it works or not, at least they do things together. And I feel like it's the kind of plays that are going to become more clean over time. But you were mentioning the fact that you improved on specific aspects of your shot calling, the way you handle lane and stuff like this. And I would like to know how much you think Jankos has been able to help you in that sense, and how different of a player are you now compared to, let's say, at the beginning of the year, because what happened in Excel was not representative of what you are, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with Excel, I learned a lot, but way more about myself than me as a player, not like my playstyle, but just about me. And I think what Jankos brought is like a lot of what I should say, because he played with like really good millennials, and he tells me like, okay, Caps or Perks will say that now, so you should say that. And yeah, and after it's like more stuff about like being creative in a way and making stuff easy for the team. And I think that's and like sometimes giving up stuff that I didn't used to. When I was Misfit, I was like rarely giving up stuff. I was like mostly playing for myself, and I think it brought some success for us. But at one point, you could see that we're not winning, right? And I think like knowing when to give up and trying to understand. I'm still learning because it's not something like you just learn in a week or two. But I think I'm focusing that, and Jankos like helps me a lot about like when to do that.
Yeah, depends on the opening, the setting you have with the team you have, and moving forward from this, I want to talk about today's results and how you guys made it happen, but also what happened during the first series you had. Yamato, any surprises coming into today? We had strong opinions about Fnatic and Mad Lions. I feel like Fnatic evolved a bit, maybe, but Mad Lions stayed, unfortunately, to what we've seen from them last week.
I think in regards to Mad Lions, I think the expectation set on Elioya and Hilly has been so high when they are peaking, and I didn't feel like their performance was good enough to kind of create that Mad Lions that we know when they're playing at their best. I think Fnatic had very good draft adjustments. They started playing Jace again. Tristana is spammed in solo queue by Humanoid, and just adding these pieces allows you to play Maokai, and all of a sudden you have drafts that are a lot more simple to play, and the Fnatic could actually be a form of themselves that we actually recognize. And today's series as well with Team Heretics, I think today was some of the best games that you played all summer long, and I think personally I'm very excited to see the progression coming into tomorrow too, because now it kind of reshapes my idea of what a Team Heretics BDS series could look like for sure.
Yeah, and that's something I want to mention next, of course. But for now, the split ends for Mad and Koi. We won't see them next week at the Summer Split Finals next Sunday, but 2 weeks after that, we're going to be back for Summer Split Finals, the season finals leading up to Montpellier, in which Mad already qualified and Koi is still in contention. And also, with the results of today, SK also locked now, so maybe taking it a bit more comfortable coming into tomorrow's games. The match of the week, of course, that we will have will be played on Monday, will be G2 versus Excel to kick off the playoffs. Any first thoughts on this matchup, Vetheo, the G2 Excel one on Monday?
I think it should be pretty hard for Excel.
Yeah.
But I think everyone thinks that, and I'm not thinking different. So I just want to see how Excel can do, and if they can really show up against G2.
Coming as the underdog, of course, maybe less to prove, and you can be more creative in a setting like this. Can you tell me about your game tomorrow before we go? We don't want to hold you for too long because I know you have to prep, but yeah, facing off against BDS. What's your understanding of the team from what you can say?
Yeah, I mean, I think today it was hard to be really happy about the result because we have game tomorrow and it's as important. And I mean, basically, as I said, I think last week was free and we throw. And right now I just want to show and to play without being as bad as we did. And I just want to get revenge from last week. I still think we're a better team, and if we like really show up and show what we improved on, and like when we rewatch our games as a team, it was like really mind-blowing how bad we played. So like I just want to play, and I think it will be a great series. Last time was 2-1 for them, but yeah, I just want to play and get revenge from last week.
The rematch, the revenge. SK Fnatic, Yamato, any?
Ooh, SK Fnatic. I think the main question is what is hiding behind the Jace layer for Humanoid. Does he have the LeBlanc ready, the Kaiser ready? Does he have the Tristana ready? I think being on point with the mid lane meta and enabling Humanoid to get to the point where he can carry games is going to be key. And SK, when it comes to the later parts of the game, they get very sloppy and dirty. They need to clean that up because early game they are very sharp.
I feel like Fnatic need to clean that up as well. But it was more clean today, though. But that's a story for tomorrow. Vincent, thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to take the PGL selfie. And you guys, if you missed any of the action today, the rebroadcast of today's game will be starting in just a few minutes on Twitch. So join us tomorrow to see who will join XL and G2 in the Summer Split playoffs. We're back with Ready Check at 5:45 Central European Central Time. Thank you so much. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And I forgot to unlock my phone. Here it is. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Does he go for the dive? I think he might be feeling it. Gets the knockup, gets the bellows breath, and another kill.
I think you can look on.
Look on Ash, look on
Yeah,
Ash.
look. Go Milio.
Nice.
The magnets are thrown, but here comes Noah, flashing over the wall, forcing the Mad Lions back. Oscar's turned onto Elyoya, and it is Fnatic once again winning out the fights.
I think I can ulti here soon, by the way.
Look on Ash, look on Ash. Ash.
Is that?
Look nice. Yeah, go Milio.
Yeah, I catch him.
We can end. Nice.
But Hilly, you saw how to play Rel? How to flash Q? I saw you gank at mid.
You could flash smite that. Would be a very bumpy. I knew he would do that. You just got malbanged, Jankos. I mean... Wait, medic, good timing, medic. Good timing, okay. No, flash away, Heavy, look at the stun master coming in. What a timing! What a timing! Kill him! His headset fell off!
Wait, bitte.
Yeah, I give you. Get better. Sorry.
It's nice.
Sejuani has the ult. Double stun, double knockup. Maybe a double kill to boot.
And Niski just barely sidesteps that engage, jumps forward, and makes it the threaded volley. Now it's Niski
Opens up once again as Larson, and at the end have to dash away. Blackhead flashes, and there go Koi. Gleaming Quill, the heel, doesn't have anywhere to go apart from flashing to save him.
I'm ulting Sergio. Oh my god, that's sexy Zaya, dude.
Go Samira. Look Talia.
Nice! No, Penta. Wait. I go.
Sorry. It's vengeance for Valorant here for Heretics as they claim the win against Koi. And they will meet BDS tomorrow for a spot in the playoffs.